I think we are live. Are we live? Hello, everyone. My name is Myrza Sison, and I am today's Coach Moko Spotlight featured person, all around person. Because I'm not a coach, I want to stress that, but I'm here to help. I think I can help. I'm a writer, I'm a former editor, I'm a host, I'm a former model, and a former computer programmer. Daming former, di ba? I have a whole past life ahead of me. So I have many years of experience in addressing women's concerns, whether it was as a model where our job was, to look our best for a living. So I think I have a lot of tips from that experience. And then when I was an editor for a few decades, I was the editor in chief of magazines like Cosmopolitan and Marie Claire, and also Female Network and Spot.ph. So I have so many years of experience in addressing young women's concerns, whether they're about relationships or careers, self growth, self esteem, self improvement, even sex, health, everything under the sun. So if you have any questions, just ask away. My mission in life is to empower women to achieve their goals and fulfill their dreams. So I'm here to help you just like a coach. I have two live streams currently aired on KUMU, Facebook, and YouTube. That's TikTok, where we interview top celebrities in the fields of fashion, entertainment, and music, and the arts, and Ask Miss Mears every Wednesday afternoon at 5 p.m. also, where I interview an expert about a practical topic. So like I said, I'm not a life coach and I can only speak from my experience, but I'm here to help you and here to address your concerns. So, Ma'am, Sir, ano pa bang mga concerns natin? Today's topic, I think, is very timely for all Pinoy, very, very useful and relevant. And the topic is confidence and specifically shyness. Because as we know, tayong mga Pinoy, medyo mahiyain tayong tao. So I'm here to answer your questions, and bear with me while I put on my glasses and read your comments. So, thank you to everyone. Oh, wow, so many people joined. Hello to Ponce Lee, Mirna Tilio, Vanji Tao. Hello to everyone. So, Carla Cap is asking, have you ever hosted or curated your own workshops, or do you have any tips for starting one? Actually, I have not done my own, but in my capacity as Cosmo editor, we did host a lot of workshops, specifically one called Cosmo Goes to Work, where we invited a lot of speakers on personality development and personal finance. So I was always hosting workshops for Cosmo, but on my own, I have not. But that's a great idea. And hopefully with KUMU, we can do that. So I think I want to tell you about my own specific experience with shyness. I don't know if you can believe this because people never believe that I was one shy. Pero nung bata po ako, sobrang mahiyain ako. Ayan na yung bangs na naghihiwalay. I'm so sorry. Ayan. Okay. Pwede na. When I was young, I was so shy as a teenager, super shy. I felt ugly and gawky and nerdy. I was so shy that I could not even face my own relatives. As in, pag dumadating na yung mga cousins ko and mga titas ko sa house, I was so scared to even face them. I would be locked in my room and I couldn't come down. That's how debilitatingly shy I was. O sabi ni Vanji, same tayo, ma'am. Sobrang mahiyain din talaga ako. Nako, marami sa atin ang mahiyain, and I'm gonna explore the reasons why. So I was so shy na minsan ayoko nang lumabas ng house, like ayokong pumunta sa parties. Not that I was invited, kasi sobrang nerdy and geeky ko. I went to a science high school, Manila Science High School. So ang alam ko lang ay mag-aral. Pagdating sa social interaction, as you know, mga nerds, medyo introverts lahat, di ba? So, sobra akong shy. Ayaw na ayaw ko yung, like when your mom will say, nako, dito ka, itong mga batang ka-age mo, and then there's strangers. Oh my gosh, total freak out. So, I was so super shy. And in class, I was never the one who would raise her hand and recite. I mean, tahimik lang ako, hindi alam ng buong school that I existed. Sabi ni boss from PZ, friendly ako pero pag madami na nahihiya ako, that's a very normal feeling. Pag madami na, parang natatameme tayo pag maraming tao. In my family, sobrang introverted kami. Like, well, my dad, masyado siyang madaldal and he likes the sound of his own voice. But my mom, sobrang mahiyain siya. Like, if I introduce her to new people, she's really not gonna say anything. And so even my sisters, I don't know about my brother, but even my sisters, sobrang mahiyain nila. To this day, medyo nakapag-evolve na rin sila to be friendlier. But sometimes we're really, parang napipigilan tayo ng hiya, sobrang hiya. And let's analyze why. Bakit tayo nahihiya? You know, pag bata tayo, di ba, when we're born and then we're like a toddler, sobrang daldal naman natin, di ba? Pag pinag-perform, kakanta, pinagsayaw, sasayaw, wala tayong hiya dahil wala tayong malay. I think pag nagkamalay na tayo, doon natin natututunan yung hiya. Like, if people say negative things, and I mean, let's say you're a toddler, you're 2 years old, and then people start to say things, that's when nakakamalay ka, and then you feel like, nako, bakit ganon? Parang, mali yating ginawa ko, or, you know, anything like that. That's why you always have to encourage children, di ba, to perform, huwag kang mahihiya, always encourage them, applaud them. But then, the older we get, the more outside comments and, you know, feedback from people kind of have microaggressions on our self-esteem. And then, so, if you're not really praised at home or encouraged, minsan nahihiya ka, or especially if you have friends na mapagpintas, and minsan mga Pinoy, di ba, sobra tayong mapagpintas, nakakasira din yun sa self-esteem natin. So, back to my story. I was so shy throughout high school. Nobody knew I existed. Such that, nung nag-college na ako, I went to UP for college. And then, syempre yung mga high school friends ko, iba na yung world nila, di ba? I thought, naku, walang may kilala sa akin dito. I can actually reinvent myself and be a whole new person. Also, I came across this book called Shyness by Dr. Philip Zimbardo. It's like a whole book written by a psychologist with a PhD. And he had studied shyness as a phenomenon in people, and he delved into the psychology of shyness and how you can overcome it. And so with this self-help book, I thought, wow, may solutions pala yung shyness, and I understood the psychology behind it, and then I was armed with tips. So nung college, I reinvented myself and became this whole new person na biglang pag kailangan ng group leader sa projects, I volunteer, di ba? Parang, wow, who's this person who used to be shy and is no longer shy? And I learned that minsan, alam mo ba yung minsan parang you feel like you're more talented than other people, but they get all the breaks. And then you say, bakit ang successful niya? Mas magaling naman ako dyan. Chances are, hindi siya shy. Or chances are, she overcame her shyness para makuha yung gusto niya. And this is also something that I want to tell you. Minsan, we really have to overcome our shyness. Kasi, it's really an obstacle for us to reach our goals. So actually, I prepared like a código for you guys. I don't know if you can see it on the bottom of the screen there. I have an acronym called FEAR. Sometimes our fear is just from false expectations appearing real. Chances are, kung shy ka, overthinker ka. Like you're always overthinking things. You're always thinking, nako, baka ganyan, baka sabihin nila ganyan. But actually, it's all in your mind. And then, kaya importanteng magpakapal in life. Here's my acronym called EPAL. Enable the pursuit of an amazing life. Because if you're so shy and you don't speak up and you don't go for what you want, baka mapag-iwanan ka ng mga bagay-bagay, or your goals might just pass you by because you were not brave enough to reach for those goals. So Remember these two acronyms: fear, false expectations appearing real. Sometimes it's all in your mind. And you have to be EPAL, enable the pursuit of an amazing life. So yon, meron ba kayong questions? Sabi ni Vanji, pahingi po ng confidence. I think sa'yo lang yan manggagaling. And then a big chunk of it boils down to self-awareness. Take an inventory of yourself. Like, isipin mo talaga, ano ang aking assets and liabilities, di ba? And what can I change and what can I work hard on? Let's say, minsan, ayan na naman yung banks ko, teka lang bank alert. Okay, I can proceed. So let's say assets. Ano ang assets mo? Minsan, napangungunahan ka ng liabilities bago sa assets. Like isipin mo, ayoko na magsalita, mali-mali yung English ko, o kaya ang hina ng boses ko, or baka sabihin nila, bakit siya magsalita ng ganon, bulol, or bakit di naman siya maganda, ang kapal niya, anong right niya. Di ba, minsan, sometimes we really focus on the negative, but we're not really thinking of our assets. So anong asset mo? Maybe funny ka pala, hindi nila alam, di ba? Or maybe meron kang hidden talent, magaling ka pala kumanta, or maybe in your field of expertise, napakagaling mo pala talaga in your field, whether it's accounting or writing or whatever your field is. So make like a list of your assets and a list of your liabilities, and be true to yourself. I mean, don't naman, minsan nga it's all in our mind. We're such critics of ourselves. So minsan, grabe tayong manglait sa sarili natin. Ang sabi nila, kung sino daw yung pinaka-judgmental sa ibang tao or mapanglait, usually mas judgmental tayo sa sarili natin. And it's really paralyzing if you're judgmental on yourself. And so make a list of your assets and your liabilities, and then see what you can change and see what you cannot change. Let's say, you'll say, nahiya akong lumabas or maghalubilo kasi ang taba ko. Minsan, mataba ka ba talaga or hindi? Or if you are, pwede bang accept mo na lang yung sarili mo, or do you still want to lose weight? I mean, these days, there's beauty and diversity na, di ba? Parang nag-open up na yung standards of beauty, and it's not the unrealistic standard na of beauty na sobrang payat, di ba? Minsan, all shapes and sizes, if you own it, you can be considered beautiful. So, consider that. And if, let's say, you're not happy with your body, is it something you want to change? I mean, you can only change your body so much, but if you decide that you do want to change it, then take steps. What can't you change? You can't change, let's say, your height. You can't change your shoe size. Your dress size, you can change if you like. How about intelligence? Let's say you've been conditioned from your youth na ang bobo-bobo mo. Minsan naniniwala tayo kahit hindi naman totoo, di ba? And then, what is, ano ba yung batayan ng kabobohan? Grades ba? Minsan hindi. I mean, some of the most successful people in our world didn't even do well in school or didn't even finish school. So grades are not the only measure of intelligence, di ba? So once you have determined kung ano yung assets and liabilities mo, see what you can change and see what you can't change. And then keep improving. Because once you're self-aware and once you know what you can bring to the table, you'll have a better grasp on what you can and can't do, and your false expectations appearing real will no longer be false expectations appearing real. So I also became a model. After I finished college, I finished BS Stat, diba? Super hindi pang model. I finished BS Stat kasi yun ang gustong course for me ng parents ko. And then I became a computer programmer in SGV and Company. So that's another very nerdy job where I was surrounded by nerds. But I was harboring a secret fantasy of becoming a model, which I never told anyone kasi parang ang crazy, di ba? Like, how can a computer programmer who's so nerdy even become a model? But I had a secret fantasy world, and I lived in the pages of fashion magazines. My dad kasi, he owns a book sale. I don't know if you know the bargain bookstore company called Book Sale. So I grew up on a lot of books and magazines, and in my fantasy world, I could be on the pages of a fashion magazine. But this fantasy, I never dared tell anyone. But secretly, I was finding a way to make it happen. But I really didn't dare tell anyone. Except I told one tita. I didn't even dare tell my parents. Kasi syempre magagalit sila, bakit pinag-aral pa nila ako? I mean, I went to a science school and I went to UP and took up BS Statistics, became a computer programmer. For parents who have decided that path for you, and they did decide the path for me, because when I entered high school, I was 11. When I entered college, I was 14. At 14, what do you know, right? And at 14, I really wanted to be a writer, but my dad said no. This was the time of the Marcos regime, and my dad said all the writers will just be jailed because the country will fall into the hands of the communists and all the writers will be jailed. So no way are you going to be a journalist. You have to take up statistics and become a computer programmer. So naka-plot na yung life ko for me. But in the back of my mind, I wanted to be a model, pero I didn't dare confess this dream to anyone. Kasi baka pagtawanan ako, baka sabihin, wow, kapal ha, paano ka naman magiging model? Nerdy mo, paano ka magiging model? Ang alam ko lang, I had the height, because the minimum height was my height. Yan na naman yung banks. Ako, if anyone can give me a solution to my bang gap, may hairspray na yan. Anyway, back to my story. And so, I had secret dreams of becoming a model. So, I told my tita, and my tita, thankfully, did not laugh. Hindi siya parang nasuka sa dream ko. And then she actually encouraged me. And she talked to me as if it were a very valid dream. And so she said, yeah, pwede ka. O, anong gagawin mo about it, di ba? What steps are you gonna take to do it? But then, hindi ka naman sineryoso na parang, okay, so it's not such a crazy dream after all, kasi hindi siya natawa, so maybe it's possible. So one day, I was watching TV and I saw a bunch of models plugging a fashion show on some TV show, a fashion show for a certain boutique called 22 BC. And I said, hey, I know where that is. I'm going to go there. So I pretended to be on a client call from SGV. I just wrote down there, client call. And then tumakas ako, I went to the boutique. And I said, oh, kung yung mga models na yon, they model for this boutique, maybe if I plant myself there, baka ma-discover ako, di ba? So I was there in the boutique called 22 BC. And then 2 hours later, di pa rin ako na-discover. I'm like, nako, patay. And then the sales lady approached me again for the 100th time, no, maybe for the 3rd time. Yes, miss, can I help you? And I'm like, I'm okay. And I'm like, oh my gosh, 2 hours na. Wala pang nangyayari. Alis na kaya ako. And just when I was about to leave, in comes a model agent, di ba? What are the chances that a model agent would come in just as I'm about to leave? What if I left after 30 minutes or 1 hour? Parang sobra kong determined na di may mangyari dito. I had so much faith in, I don't know what, myself or the universe. So the model agent approached me and said, excuse me, are you a model? And may handa na akong answer. And so I said, no, but I'd like to be one. And he handed me his card for a modeling agency. And so that is the story of my self-planted discovery. And the whole point of this is you really never know what will happen. I mean, had I left after 1 hour, baka computer programmer pa rin ako ngayon. Baka, but maybe I'm working na for Facebook and still here with you today. But my point is, you never know what will happen. So you have to just take steps and open your mind and see what's going to happen, which is why the title of my show is Join Lang Nang Join. Join Lang Nang Join is a motto that I learned while I was modeling. All the designers, makeup artists, hairdressers, mostly gay, would always encourage us to join lang ng join. Like if they say, oh, may audition for whatever, join lang ng join. Or if they'll say, may, for the ones who became beauty queens, may beauty contest ng ganyan, whatever, join lang ng join. So it kind of became uh, a motto. Sometimes it's interchangeable with go lang ng go, which in essence means don't overthink things. Keep your eyes open to all the opportunities out there and take your chances. I mean, be brave enough to see where some opportunity might take you because you really never know. So, what if I never went to that boutique? Maybe I never would have been discovered, but maybe I would have been discovered in some other way. And back then, you had to be discovered before anything ever happened. Kahit ano naman yung bags ko. But these days, there's so many ways to get discovered. In essence, you discover yourself. So, for example, how did I even land on KUMU? Actually, I was very, very shy about it. I was actually very, very shy. After all the things I have preached for decades in all the magazines, because I'm a newbie again at this sort of thing, and a lot of you actually, you start when you're teenagers, you start when you're so young, and you're actually also brave in pursuing your goals. I too was kind of shy, but then one thing led to another, and I tried to not overthink things. I tried to be brave. I tried to ask around, and I interviewed Sanya Smith, who has a show in Kumu. I interviewed her for my show TikTok, and then I casually asked her, "So you're in Kumu? How do I get in Kumu?" And then she introduced me to someone who introduced me to someone, and so here I am because nagpaka-EPAL ako. So my advice for everyone who is shy is, sayang if you are shy and you're debilitated by your fear. Sayang your pursuit of an amazing life if you were shy. So let's see if we have some questions. Wow, so many people are sending hello, hello, and hearts, and I'm getting a lot of follows. By the way, don't forget to follow me. Press the follow button and follow me. So, where was I? Shyness. Yon, let's say language barrier. Let's say you are very insecure about speaking in English. Either get better at speaking in English, read a lot, watch a lot of programs in English, listen to a lot of English, practice speaking English. I mean, if you are paralyzed by your inability to communicate well, then do your best to study it until you communicate better. Or if not, if you really think na never ka nang gagaling sa English, speak in Tagalog. I remember nung last Miss Universe Philippines, si Eliza Malinaw, who was Miss Davao and who also worked with as a model for Cosmo. She said that she has decided to speak in Visayan and not in English. And she even have the video where she said, growing up, she was really very quiet, not because she was dumb or not intelligent, but because she was hampered by her inability to speak English because it's not her native tongue, and Visayan is her native tongue. If you can express yourself in your native tongue, then do so. I mean, nobody's forcing you unless it's a requirement in your job. Then what can you do but get better, right? And kahit mali-mali, I mean, some of the most successful people I know here, kahit mali, say what they need to say, and then kahit mali-mali, kahit pagtawanan, I don't know why mahilig tayong, I mean, I've been guilty also, mahilig tayo to laugh at other people's mistakes in English, but then if it's not their first language, they didn't grow up speaking it, how can you fault them for that, right? I realized this when I started studying foreign languages. So I have been trying to learn French for maybe all of my adult life. So many classes in French that I've taken, but I keep forgetting because I don't practice. And right now, after so many years of starting and stopping and starting and stopping, I can barely speak it. I speak French like maybe a 3-year-old child. And so I realized that we shouldn't fault people for not being able to communicate in the language that's not their first language. I mean, 'di ba? Ikaw kaya if you're so fluent in English but you're poor in Tagalog, nobody ever laughs at you for speaking poor Tagalog, right? Well, we kind of laugh at foreigners when they try to speak Tagalog, or Phil-Ams, 'di ba? When they try to speak Tagalog, everybody starts laughing. And my husband, who is Phil-Am, he never learned Tagalog anymore because every time he'd try to speak it like sa office, tatawa yung mga tao. So, ayun na niya. The same way na minsan, kung mali-mali tayo mag-English, tatawa yung mga tao. Ayun lang natin, di ba? But we really shouldn't be prevented from excelling at learning something by the cruel comments of people, or like whenever they laugh. So, another tip for shyness, I think, is you try to act as if you are not shy and you will be not shy. I don't know if you know that Beyonce, that pop superstar Beyonce, she has an alter ego named Sasha Fierce, and she invented her alter ego, Sasha Fierce, nung nagsistart pa lang siya to sing, to be a recording star, to perform in front of audiences, because she was actually a church choir singer, so medyo conservative siya. And then suddenly, the marketing for her was this of like a sexy pop diva, and which she was not. So she invented this alter ego named Sasha Fierce, para she can transform her personality into like a fake personality until that personality becomes her. So if you were very shy, try to pretend that you're an actress for a day. Let's say there's a party and then you're dying of shyness. Try to pretend that you are this not shy social butterfly, and you just act as if you're not shy. And before you know it, you won't be shy anymore. And just as the way that I researched about my condition, diba? Shyness is a condition, and learned everything I could about it. You can do the same. I mean, the internet is just right there. Just Google how to stop being shy, how to overcome shyness, and there will be so many tips. Another another tip that I could add is, let's say you have social anxiety and you don't want to really be with a lot of people. Let's say there's a function or a party. Well, these days, bawal ang party, so I think we're all thriving. It's easier to be shy in a Zoom meeting, right, than to be an actual physical room where you have to circulate with people. But if you're intimidated by anyone, isipin nyo, tao lang sila like you and me. I mean, they poo like you and me, they pee like you and me, they fart like you and me. They are as human as you and me. And so do not be intimidated by their stature or their wealth or their intelligence. Just imagine that you are fellow human beings that need to interact with each other. I also discovered this in all my years as a journalist. Sometimes the job entailed interviewing really, really big names in business, in arts, Hollywood celebrities, and the nerdy shy me would always come out and from time to time be paralyzed by fear, like, oh my god, what do I say to Jason Momoa? Because it was my dream to meet Jason Momoa, right? I didn't really say much, but in the end I met him. Maybe that's a bad example, but I think, for example, Ben Cab, I don't know if you know Ben Cab, who is like a national artist. And there was some controversy about art maybe 10 years ago. And then we had to write about it for spot.ph. And then I had to interview him. And so I found his number and I was so scared to call him. Like, what do I say to Ben Cab? But he actually answered the phone and he agreed to an interview. And I interviewed him on the phone. And I was so stunned na, oh my God, tao lang pala siya. So, totoong tao siya. Okay, I'm gonna look at the phone again and fix my bangs. Me too, lol, said Nadine Elise. I don't know what she's referring to, but yeah, so many hello, Luz Vimin, user 5984761. Thank you to Lil Angel 12364. I feel like I know all of you. Kai Cortez, oh my God, is that the Kai Cortez? If that is the Kai Cortez, or even if not, I'm a fan of Kai Cortez. Hello. Good morning from Rizalyn Castillo and Jenny Ann. Hello, everyone. So I'm actually very scared right now and shy. So ironic, right? Because the topic is shyness, but your support is giving me strength and giving me a lot of good vibes. So another tip, sorry parang medyo kalat-kalat yung talk ko, but hopefully you're picking up a few lessons here and there. Another tip I have for being intimidated by a crowd or a group of people is to divide and conquer. I mean, if you enter a public venue na ang daming tao, it's really like scary, right? If you don't know anyone. But try to eye like people who are also alone or people who look friendly and just be curious about them. I mean, people are always scared of the prospect of making small talk. Like they'll say, sometimes introverts will say, I hate small talk. Sometimes it can be annoying, but I think if you are a curious person, and I think mga Pinoy sobrang curious natin, di ba? Medyo may pagkachismosa tayo and we're always in everybody's business. Like, gusto nating alamin everything about a person, minsan kahit personal na, di ba? So you just apply that and be curious about everyone that you meet. And so let's say you spot someone who's alone, or maybe there's some people smiling and they look friendly naman, just approach them. And you don't have to talk about stupid, nonsensical, trivial things. You know, there are many things to talk about, like what's going on at the moment. They say it's so boring to talk about the weather, but then what do you begin with if there's something that everybody is experiencing? Well, now the pandemic leaves a lot of opportunity to talk about things that are affecting everyone, right? But try and make a remark, let's say, about the venue. You can say, medyo madilim, ano, or parang masarap yung food doon, you know. Use your imagination and then try and be curious about the other people. I mean, a friend of mine before said something that I'll never forget. He said, everyone has something to say. Whether you are a CEO or a balut vendor or a sales girl or a masseuse or a supermodel, everyone has something to say and everyone has interesting things about their lives. So you can practice on people you interact with. Well, ngayong pandemic, medyo limited ang chance to practice. But, you know, practice talking, practice just making chika with people, and pretty soon, it just takes practice, actually. So yun, you know, my husband, he's still surprised to this day when he met me, I was already an editor, right? And so I'm used to addressing a whole auditorium full of people giving inspirational talks. And he was very surprised to find out that I'm still actually deep down inside very shy. Like, sometimes when he'll say, oh, I have to go to this function, do you want to come with me? And then I will be like gripped with fear. Like I'll say, huh? Who will be there? I don't know anyone there. Who will I talk to? And he would say, I can't believe that you, who address like or talk to all kinds of people from all walks of life are actually afraid and shy to be at a party or at an event where you won't know anyone, and it still happens even now. Like, I'm very shy about talking to all of you, but I'm just trying to be brave and practicing EPAL. What is EPAL again? Enable the pursuit of an amazing life. And I know that doing this KUMU stream will help me enable the pursuit of an amazing life. So, do you have any questions? Let's see. I think we have a question from. We have no questions, but I'm sure you have questions. Baka shy lang kayo. So I'm just gonna start greeting everyone. Laura Mill, thank you for the halo halo. Ernest, following me. Anne Racine 025, following me. The Less Delicious, hearts, hearts. User Fire 974. Kim Pao, heart, heart. Esla Nurias, hi madam. O, di ba? Wag naman madam. Myrza na lang. Okay, now it's time for the bank check. Okay, banks in place. So, do you have any questions about confidence and shyness? So, when it came to, in order to be a model, I had to quit my job as a computer programmer. And so my parents were so angry. They're so super angry. They said, bakit pinag-aral ka pa namin? Di ba? Anong gagawin mo for a living? Magpo-post? Trabaho ba yon? But then, because my secret fantasy was slowly becoming a reality, I was so, I don't know, EPAL about it. And I was so stubborn. And I really decided, yes, I am throwing away all of my education and your dreams for me and your plans and all the opportunities to, be a big success in IT in order to become a model. So my parents were very upset. They thought it was like a crazy phase that I would eventually snap out of. And every time they saw me, my mother would say, kailan ka ba gigising sa kalokohan na yan? I mean, yung mga anak ng friends ko, nagma-master's degree in the US. How about you? Hindi ka ba magma-master's degree in the US? And I don't know where the kapal came from or the strength of will, but I said, no, I will be a model until I succeed because it is my dream. They never understood it and we fought about it. But I don't know, I was really, really stubborn about it because I was so happy doing it. Maybe because I was studying all my life and, I finished college at 18, which is very advanced. And yet I don't recommend it because I think I wasn't equipped with the emotional maturity to do that. Maybe the mental capability, yes, but I think had I been more emotionally mature, it would have been better. But anyway, so I gave it all up and I became a model. And because I gave up so much, I thought, well, now that I'm a model, I better be the best kind of model I could be. And so I had goals. I had goals of modeling internationally. And so I carefully plotted all my steps in order to achieve the dream. But before that, so from being a very nerdy computer programmer, I had to learn how to be a model. And as a model, you're judged for your physical appearance, right? Like coming from a career where you were judged for your mental capability. And mind you, I think I was a good programmer naman. I was like quite an expert in what I did. And people in SGB would actually call me. I was like the local area networks queen. I don't know if that means anything to, maybe the tech people will understand, but people would actually call me with tech questions like, parang ako yung tech support expert on my floor. Anyway, so from being judged for your mental capability, it was all physical, right? You had to be a certain weight. And of course, as you know, way back then, models had to be as thin as possible. So I had to lose a lot of weight. I had to take really good care of my skin. I could not even wear heels, so I had to practice. I could not even walk, do a proper catwalk. And in fact, in the beginning, I was always being scolded because parang tabinging lakad ko or marami akong mannerisms, like I had an arm swing that was like very distracting. So all these physical skills that you had to hone. But I was so determined that I really tried to do my best, and I would critique myself after every show. And even if, when you're a model, the criticism and the judgment is so hard. We ate rejection for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Not just rejection, but really mean comments because they're commenting on the physical, na, right? So you would hear really mean, nasty comments to your face, like, sobra kang taba, sobra kang payat, sobra kang pandak, sobra kang matangkad, mukha kang lalaki, or kung ano man, di ba? Masyadong square yung mukha mo, di ba? Masyadong character yung face mo, or hindi ka masyadong wholesome, di ba? And then we would go to auditions and castings, and sometimes you could be rejected from all the castings and auditions that you went to all day long. But then you just had to have enough resilience and grit to keep going, right? Kahit na rejected ka na, we learned to really develop a thick skin. And then pretty soon we learned that if you're rejected by one person or group or job or casting, you don't have to take it personally, even if they say mean comments. If you know yourself and you're self-aware and you're so sold on yourself and what you can bring to the table, that can be such a strong that can be such like strong armor to protect you from all the rejection. And so I think former models have developed a thick skin which can help them later in life. So later on, pag iba na yung career, di ba? Because we're so used to rejection, that made it easier. But then as I explained to you, I still get fears and I still get scared. And, di ba? Tao lang po. So back to the greetings. Thank you to Angel Mapinlagaon Carmel. Hi po. User 5997653. Thank you for all the follows. Let me just check with... Oh, I love your show from Carla. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Carla. I'm getting real bangs anxiety. See, I'm preaching about shyness, and then a small thing like my bangs will throw me off, which my husband always teases me about. He's always saying, why do you keep fussing about your hair? Nobody's noticing your bangs, but I notice, and it just annoys me. To anyone who can give me the solution for keeping my bangs intact. I mean, see, I have the hairspray. Oh, diba, may brand pa. I have the comb. And still, there, see. Straight now. Behave. Okay. So I wish some of you would ask questions. Kasi, somebody said you're brave. I'm just faking it. Remember, fake it till you make it, and you can make it. I love your personality. Oh my gosh, that means so much. Cheesecake 28. Nice bangs, ma'am. O, di ba? Sinuklay ko kasi. Great motivator. Please ask me a questions. May Monterde, Markins 0720. Okay. Graded recitation. I want you to ask me a question. There. Is it important to be good looking to pursue modeling? I think good looking is very subjective. I mean, I wish I could show you my pictures. Maybe next time I'll show you my pictures from before. Ang conventions natin for good looking is very varied, and every decade also iba-iba yung perceptions for good looking. But like during my time, I grew up thinking I was the ugliest person on earth because ang standard of beauty non, small face, uh, sobrang mestiza with big eyes, sobrang tangos ng ilong. I mean, those were the models and actresses that we saw in mass media, right? So I grew up thinking when I would compare myself to them, I have a very square jaw and very small eyes. I don't know now, parang lumaki na, but before sobrang singkit siya. So I grew up, and then my bone structure was not considered beautiful. I mean, at least in mainstream society, like I have a very square jaw, which can make me look like a man. Very broad forehead, that's the bangs. And so I grew up thinking I was the ugliest thing on earth. Maybe also because, and I don't fault my parents for not praising my looks, but they chose instead to praise my mental capability. But when you don't get praise for your looks, and then my sister, the one who came after me, very, very cute, very, very pretty, she got praised a lot for her looks. So when you don't get praised for your looks, and again, I'm not faulting them because they praised me for my mental capability. And then you compare, and then you don't look like anyone who is considered beautiful, you tend to feel that you are not. And so it really never entered my mind until I opened the pages of fashion magazines like Vogue and Glamour and Mademoiselle. I don't know if nabutan niyo pa yun kasi nagsara na yata yung dalawa. But there's like Harper's Bazaar and Elle and Vogue. And I saw quite a diversity of beauty being depicted in the pages of those fashion magazines. So I realized that my look was actually called high fashion. I mean, yung mga angular face na mukhang alien, attractive pala yun in a high fashion sense. So, and that gave me hope. When you see people who look like you or who possess similar traits as you, whether looks or abilities or inclinations, you are emboldened to also emulate them. Kaya nga nagkakaroon ng life peg, di ba? So when I saw myself in those pages through models who looked like me, during those times, it was models like Tina Chow and other Jenny Shimizu, yun yung mga sikat na models nung time na yun. Japanese, Chinese, and I thought, may look pala ako. I mean, pareho kaming matulis yung panga, square yung face, mataas yung cheekbones. Baka may possibility. And so, and then true enough, when I entered the fashion scene here, I had very, very short hair, like parang 1 inch long yung hair ko. Minsan crew cut pa nga. I didn't know that my strange looks were actually a look. And so it was considered good looking in a high fashion sense, not to the mainstream, but in a certain way. And today, I think the standards for beauty lie in diversity, and you can actually be any size, any race, have any texture of hair, any complexion, and you could be considered beautiful. And I think these days, what carries off your total package of attractiveness is your confidence in owning the way you look. So to answer your question, good looking is subjective, and you can choose to proclaim that you are good looking, and people will believe it. I remember this saying from a friend of mine who said, sa buhay naman ang unang maniwala, talo. So meaning, pag napapaniwala mo ang iba that you're a certain way, then panalo ka na, di ba? Like, alam mo yung term na GGSS, gandang-ganda sa sarili. Di ba? We laugh at it and we kind of look down on that term and we make fun of people and say, GGSS naman yan eh. But actually, we all need to be a little GGSS. Napapansin nyo yung mga GGSS, minsan sila pa yung nakakaangat sa buhay. Like, sa sobrang GGSS nila, tingin na rin ng lahat ng tao, maganda sila. O di ba? Sinong naniwala? Tayo. Sinong nanalo? Siya. Sinong talo? Di tayo. Unang maniwala, talo. So my advice is let's all claim the GGSs in us. And actually, it's not a bad thing. We all need to really believe in ourselves and really find beauty in ourselves. And the more GGSS ka, the more maniniwala ang iba, and most especially, more important, pag naniwala ka in your own beauty, then maganda ka na. Nobody has to, nothing that anybody says should matter. Kasi you own your own beauty na. And then you just proceed as if you were beautiful. And you will be because you are. That is my answer to your questions. From Mikael Gemini, nasa TV po ba ikaw? Wala, pero sana. But then, so be sure to watch me again every Wednesday, except for next Wednesday, but I'll be back. Same time slot, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. on Spotlight sa Coach Moko on November 18. And then, basta every Wednesday, November 18, 25, and December 2. So, abangan mo na lang ako doon because KUMU is the new TV. Ayan. So from Anna Racine S025, thank you po. Good looking is subjective. Yes. And if you think you are good looking, you are. I promise you. Okay, let's see. Nadine Elise, do you have a question? Thank you for all your hello. I'm sure you have a question and I would love to answer your question. Wow, we have, okay, how many people are watching? Is it the one with the eye? If it's the one with the eye, there are 3,935 people watching. Totoo ba yun? And I have 12,000 diamonds. Oh, it says add host. Please select a user. Wala naman. Yes po. Oh, thank you for sharing it. Yeah, I forgot. Please share it. Please share the show and please tune in every Wednesday except for next Wednesday. So you sent me tissue and halo-halo. May mga meaning ba yan? What is the meaning of tissue and halo-halo? Tissue ba pag naiiyak? Kasi the other day, nag-stream ako nung Ask Miss Mir. Somebody sent a cockroach. So natakot ako. There's a big cockroach crawling on my screen. And I thought, is that a bad thing? Does it mean they're sending me ipis kasi tsaka? But then Nadine and Carlos said it's a good thing. So wow, thank you. Anna Racine said, when did you start modeling po? Wag na natin banggitin ng year, pero I started modeling when I was 22. After 2 years of working in SGV as a computer programmer, as I mentioned, 22 is kind of late to start for a model, even during that time, because people were starting at 16, 17. So it was kind of late, but still early enough to catch up. And so the models that I modeled with some were very young, but some actually finished college. These days, I think a modeling career starts really early. I think as soon as a girl is tall enough this is for fashion modeling, then they are recruited to be models right away. But I was glad that I had finished college before I started modeling, because I think I was more emotionally equipped to handle all the challenges that came my way. I mean, it's not an easy industry. Like I said, there's a lot of it can be toxic. Like, it's very exciting, but it can be toxic. There can be a lot of negativity. It's very competitive. You'll get a lot of not so good feelings because as much as you want everyone to be supportive, because it's competitive, sometimes there's a lot of backbiting. Some people will try and pull you down, and because you're all competing for very few spots, especially now, right? Parang ang dami ng model. Not during our time, no, not so much. So I was glad that I was done with college when I started modeling. And I modeled for about 7 years. I modeled internationally. I modeled in Southeast Asia. I modeled in Singapore, Hong Kong, Indonesia, and Thailand before I came back and decided to be a writer. So after 7 years, I became a writer for the Philippine Star, and then I became the first fashion editor for Preview magazine. And then eventually I became the editor-in-chief of Cosmo, Marie Claire, FemaleNetwork.com, Spot.ph, until I became the editorial director of Summit Media, where I handled at one time up to 23 magazines. And when we closed down all the magazines, we had around 13 websites. And so it's been a year since I left Summit Media to pursue a hosting and speaking career. And I'm actually also writing 2 books. Go to Myrza.com to see my whole life story and my plans. Myrza.com, that's MYRZA.com. So, wow. Hi po. Wow, new friend here. Oh, dami ko ng friends. Oh, thank you for Anna for keeping those questions going. What is the best thing about being a model po? Well, it was very, very exciting, but also very challenging because you are hard for your looks. You are hard to maintain a certain body type, and you're hard to have flawless skin all the time. This was in the days before Photoshop, mind you. So walang Photoshop noon. So kailangan perfect skin ka lagi. So we really had to invest in good skincare. We had to go to a dermatologist. We had to work out all the time. I don't think I ate carbs for 7 years in order to maintain my weight, which these days I think the weight thing is changing. I don't think we expect models to be anorexic, skeletal in their weight anymore, because now we welcome all body types. But yeah, the best thing was the opportunities and the experiences. I mean, we got to travel a lot. We got to wear great clothes. It was like, I couldn't believe that. I think when the first year of modeling, because I had been such a nerd all my life and I became a computer programmer, I couldn't believe that I was getting paid to do what I did for a living, because it was just like playing. It was a lot of fun. I like pretending to be somebody else. I mean, reality is not like wearing high fashion clothing and looking glammed up all the time, but I like the exploration of fantasy that it brought about. And because I'm also a very creative person and I love photography, during my years as a photography model, I decided that I wasn't just a passive subject who would stand there to be photographed. I kind of conditioned myself to think that I am a co-creator of a work of art in every photograph that I post for. And this was very, very fulfilling. And because of modeling, I saw the world. And so I think that's the best part about modeling. And also the opportunity to work with so many creative people, I think that's priceless. So when I look back on those memories, I think, wow, I'm so glad I did it. I'm so glad nagpaka-EPAL ako to walk into that boutique and act as if I were about to be discovered, because I was. So again, my advice to you, don't be afraid, pursue your dreams. Don't be shy. Try to overcome your shyness. Read up everything you can. Practice not being shy. And it can open up a whole world of opportunities for you to pursue your dreams. So we are down to the last minute. I can't believe I was able to talk for so long, but thank you everyone who kept asking questions and sending support. and sending halo-halo. Wow, ano bang favorite? Who is your favorite model po? Sa ngayon, I tend to favor the ones who don't look conventionally um, wholesome looking, and so I like the following models: Hannah Loxin, who is doing so well in Milan and Paris and New York. I like Julian Kulas. I like Jack Manere. I'm sure if you are a follower of models, you'll know who they are. I like Lu Yanong. Actually, they're all one whole barkada. And so I like that group because uh, they have very strong characters, and they've really owned their look, and they really play up who they've decided their character to be. And I think that's great. So, am I done? Join lang ng join.